The motor racing teams of the Royal Navy, Army and RAF have once again been competing against each other at the annual Birkett 6-hour race at Silverstone, the RAF looking for a 7th win since they started racing there 15 years ago. It's as close as you get to a traffic jam on the famous Northamptonshire circuit. 70 teams out to show who can stay the course over 6 hours to gain as many laps as possible in the Birkett relay run by the 750 Motor Club, where extra laps are given to teams with lower powered cars. 15 years ago, the RAF were the first military team to take part. Now it's an established part of the Inter-Services racing programme. In that time, the RAF have won it a record 6 times, including last year where remarkably just 2.5 seconds was the difference with the second place team, in a race that's as much about strategy as it is about power. So why has the RAF been so successful?
I've had a number of comments from other people we know down the paddock of they just see how we do business and we apply that military level of planning to it, which just, we think about some of the what ifs. A lot of teams just come here and they will have a go and just see how things pan out, work out the scheme of manoeuvre before we start. So I've got a plan in my brain for this event today as to how I think I want to run it, and then we will just test and adjust as it goes based on our experience of what works and what doesn't, and having a sort of basic understanding of how we think they work out the handicap and how we can then use that to our advantage.
Most teams here had 6 cars and drivers to swap and change over the course of the race, but the Army suffered a serious blow, losing Kieran Lambourne's BMW and Alex Rivett's Lotus before Paul Chapman's Renault Clio broke in qualifying. That left them with only 3 cars and 2 new drivers in Ewan Evans and Mel Hyland. But despite that, Doug Ingles powered off in his Mazda MX-5 and pushed them to as high as 2nd in the race in the first couple of hours.
I think because I had such a long stint as well, that's probably helped towards the position. That'll change over the next couple of stints, then hopefully we can get it back up there at the end.
I mean, you're up against it in a way because you've only got 3 cars, so that really does mean there's no room for any errors.
Yeah, it's standard bucket, unfortunately. End of the season, the cars have had a hard year. We lost one before we even got here, and then one this morning in qualifying, so there's only down to the 3 of us, and then I'm the fastest car out of the 3, so hopefully we can get some good laps.
The Navy had 5 cars and 6 drivers, with Richard Phillips and Charlie Spice sharing duties in one of their BMW 116s. But it was team manager Royal Marine Adam Dewis who started them off with plenty of success. 79 laps halfway into the race, and they were lying in 3rd place on the handicap.
Yeah, it was interesting conditions, quite slippy initially, dry line coming towards the end. But yeah, I was limited on laps, but I had to do 23 laps. So we had 22, I had to come in with a safety car for a bit.
So safety car actually worked out quite well for you?
Okay, yeah, so we failed in there and we were a lap within our limit, so yeah.
I mean, it's a tall order obviously today against 67 other teams, but the forces are getting very good at this.
Yeah, we are. We're not playing the game like some of them are. This year we've put out every driver that turned up this year, to every event. So we've sort of rewarded them with a drive in this Birkett. So we've got 2 novices out, both sharing a 116. So yeah, give them a bit of experience, let them enjoy the event, and then give them something to aim for next year. Hopefully get back in the team.
The RAF had a blend of youth and experience in their team. Leading them off, Cy Frowen in his Ginetta G20, putting in an epic performance in difficult track conditions. He was out for an hour and 3/4, pushing the RAF up to 4th place. With Alex Smith limited to just 25 laps in his powerful Honda, they needed to use him wisely. So Matt Beach in his BMW, Luke Arpino in his Mazda, and Ian Cooper's Daewoo, crucial cogs in the wheel. There were plenty of incidents during the race, with the safety car frequently called out. Not surprising with 70 cars on the track, but with all 3 military teams staying on course, decisions where to make the driver changes were crucial, with luck also playing a part.
Yeah, it's just the changeable conditions, I think. It's a tricky race anyway because of the speed differential and the changing cars, so as and when the weather comes in and adds another factor, then it just makes the safety car more likely. But it's actually quite nice to have a little break under the safety car when driving the car. But yeah, it's a very interesting race. We've done this a lot of times.
You put the hard yards in, so hopefully it's going to pay off.
Fingers crossed.
Going into the final hour and a half, the RAF had moved up to 2nd and briefly the lead. The Navy had dropped to 14th and the Army 22nd, and that's how the inter-services battle would play out. The RAF beating their service rivals for a third successive year to claim those bragging rights. The RAF completed 150 laps to finish 5th. The Navy were 20th, having completed 148 laps, and the Army 22nd with 147 laps. But credit to all three teams for a sterling day's work at the home of British motor racing. John Knighton, BFBS Forces News, Silverstone.
Thanks for watching. For more from BFBS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.